convenes a crucial meeting on Thursday in Kohima. The core committee to meet at Chief Minister's official residence complex to draw future course of action. And the presidential candidate Draupadi Murmu arrives in Nagaland to meet Nagaland MPs and MLAs and seek their support for upcoming presidential elections. Murmu accorded a rousing welcome at Dimapur Airport as Chief Minister Nipio Rio and Minister Temchen Imna along with others greeted her. To prevent occurrence of antisocial elements, extremism and unlawful activities across Assam-Nagaland border, Assam government reinforces night curfew from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. in the 5-kilometer belt in Sivasakar district bordering Nagaland with effect from July 4 for a period of 60 days. Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi and RCP Singh resigned as the union ministers on Wednesday, a day ahead of the expiry of their Rajya Sabha terms. BJP's minority FCEA Naqvi resignation comes amid reports of him being projected by NDA as a candidate for vice presidential post. Households will now have to spend more on liquefied petroleum gas from today as national oil marketing companies increase the price of 14.2 kilogram cylinder by rupees 50 with effect from July 6. However, rates for 19 kilogram commercial cylinder have been cut by rupees 8.5 per unit effective today. Hello and welcome to Nagaland TV. You are watching English Prime Time. This is Chipenkfung. Let's look at the stories in detail. The core committee of the Parliamentary Committee will be holding a meeting on the Naga political issue on 7 July at 11 a.m. Notably, the meeting will be held at Chief Minister's official residential complex, whereby all members are requested to make it convenient to attend the meeting. The core committee of the Parliamentary Committee, led by Chief Minister Nipio Rio, has convened a special parliamentary meeting on the Naga political issue tomorrow, which is the 7th of July at 11 a.m. It has been informed that the meeting will be held at Chief Minister's residential complex in Kohima. And this meeting is a very crucial one as it has been called right before the 2023 elections. And as we know that every section of the Naga society is pushing for amicable, honorable and inclusive solution before the 2023 general elections in Nagaland. The Chief Minister and his Council of Ministers and Advisors MLAs will be discussing at length regarding the Naga political issue and how to arrive at a solution so that the long decade-old Naga political issue will come to an end with an amicable, inclusive and honorable solution for everyone. So it has also been reported that the meeting will be at Chief Minister's residential complex in Kohima, and this meeting comes at a very crucial point of time. And with all civil society organizations, with the young generation, with all people from the Nagaland society demanding solution to the long-pending Naga issue. So this meeting is obviously definitely a very important meeting as I have pointed out before, as the 2023 general elections is coming closer, and as it inches closer, Naga people's desperation and demand for political solution increases day by day, and this meeting is very crucial, and it shall be held tomorrow once again at 11 a.m. tomorrow at Chief Minister's residential complex in Kohima. National Democratic Alliance presidential candidate Draupadi Murmu arrived in Dimapur to meet MPs and MLAs and seek their support for the upcoming presidential elections. She was accorded a rousing welcome at Dimapur airport with Nagaland BJP officials, workers accompanied by Minister Timchan Imna Along and Chief Minister Nipio Rio greeting her. Notably, Murmu, after arriving at Dimapur airport, left for Niatu resort at Chamugirima. It is to be mentioned that Murmu will be visiting other northeastern states as part of her campaign for the presidential elections. It has also been reported that Draupadi Murmu will be returning tonight. She will be returning from Nagaland, and her campaign in the other northeastern states shall continue in the days that follow. To prevent occurrence of antisocial elements, extremist, unlawful activities coming across the Assam-Nagaland border in the belt of Sivsakar district, the additional district magistrate of Sivsakar has reinforced night curfew from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. in the 5-kilometer belt in Assam side of Sivsakar district bordering Nagaland with effect from July 4. And this reinforcement of night curfew shall continue for a period of 60 days. The ADM further informed that any movement of any person, group of persons or any vehicular traffic will be strictly prohibited during the period of night curfew. However, the magistrate, security personnel of Army, CRPF, police and civil officials deployed on duty are exempted from the purview of the prohibitory orders. Dimapur Municipal Council Chairman Albert Azung on Wednesday inaugurated a pay-and-use toilet in Old Market, Marwaripati in Dimapur. Notably, the construction and renovation of the pay-and-use toilet is an initiative taken by the Lions Club of Dimapur. Furthermore, Executive Member of Lions Club Mahesh Agarwal during the inauguration requested the citizens of Dimapur to maintain the public toilet. It is to be mentioned that a sum of rupees 10 would be charged for urination and rupees 20 for other purposes. The official further informed that the revenue generated from the pay-and-use toilet will be reinvested for maintenance purpose.
Function, we are going to inaugurate the pay-and-use toilet which has been renovated, in fact, by Lions Club of Dimapur to commemorate the Golden Jubilee, because this year we have completed 50 years of Lions Club of Dimapur, and recently we have celebrated that Golden Jubilee also, and to commemorate that we have renovated this pay-and-use toilet, and our chairman Mr. Manoj Chabra and the co-chairman Mr. P.K. Jain, they all have taken the trouble of renovating this. We were supposed to inaugurate this on 19th of June, but because of the uneven rain, we could not complete the construction, the renovation part. So that's why we have decided today to inaugurate. And our main request with the public is that this has been, renovated for you all. So we have to maintain. We have to pay whatever the revenue is, 10 rupees for the use of the latrine, and then for 5 rupees for urinal. And my request is, we all should maintain it. This is public property. This is DMC property. Only part is that we have renovated. Whatever the expenses has gone has been paid by our club side, and we are not taking anything in return. Only whatever the amount is being paid by the public, that will be used for.
And a time for festivity. One of Nagaland's newly launched districts, Newland, has been celebrating Tulane Festival for the last 2 days. The program is being held and organized by the Newland Area Students Union, and the program today commenced at 10 a.m. in the morning. The chief guest for the program was head GB Hukudo Village and former NPSC chairman Dr. Hukudo Vizimo. During the program, it was reported that there was a heavy downpour of rain. However, the participants and well-wishers who participated in the program, they braved the stormy and rainy weather, and they had a very jubilant time. A free medical checkup camp was organized by Shamadar Noklak Battalion of Assam Rifles on Wednesday at ITC Dan in Noklak district. It is worth noting that the free medical camp was organized to screen people who are suffering from various ailments like respiratory tract infections, dysentery, fungal infections, skin infections, ENT infections, lower back ache, and many more. It is also to be mentioned that besides medical checkup and treatment, SMO 14 Assam Rifles Dr. H.R. Prasad gave an awareness lecture on scrub typhus and various common diseases prevailing in the region. Meanwhile, the Gaonpura of ITC Tan Village Cope and Village Council Chairman Ichung and residents of Ponyo Village, Myanmar expressed heartfelt gratitude to the 14 Assam Rifles for their yeoman service and kind gesture. It may be mentioned that ITC Dan is the last village of India along the Myanmar border and is a major entry-exit gate for local population under free movement regime agreement, which allows free movement of individuals living up to 16 kilometers of both sides of border, while Assam Rifles is a dual task for implementation of FMR and maintaining peace in the area. A team under Indian Council of Agriculture and Research on 6 July organized a vaccination camp under Dopu. Notably, vaccination team consisted of Dr. Lalzampuya, Dr. Toshi and veterinary field assistant Anthony Yangba. Furthermore, the team traveled on foot, almost covering 13 kilometers at the forest of Dopu village where mithans are reared. Furthermore, the team distributed various inputs for the mithun farmers, including medicines, vaccines, and fencing wire to prevent the movement of mithun to the neighboring villages. The team vaccinated almost 35 mithuns and instructed the farmers to vaccinate the remaining on other days. The vaccination camp was attended by Dopu Village Students' Union, Gaonburas, and more than 50 farmers.
This mithun farming is that we want to cover as much as possible, but the thing is, since mithun mostly it is reared under free range system as of now in the village and every other places, so the problem is our vaccine coverage is not very high compared to other animals like cattle and buffalo and other animals. That's why the purpose of our visit is also to demonstrate and to popularize our technologies. We call it a semi-intensive mithun rearing system. There we have to have like a shed for the cattle. Like the cattle, mithun will be not just reared in the jungle like this, and they will have a proper shed and feeding places and these things, so that we will be able to maintain those kind of health management as well as for the production or better production and these things. Otherwise, in the free range system, like I said, especially for the healthcare and management, it is very difficult for us, although we are trying as hard as we can. So far, we are also following the Indian government policy that FMD free countries that we are trying to achieve, and in that perspective, mithun, they are one of the most difficult to cover.
Among the first day I got this thanks to time to time among megas quite again 2007 degree among private by 30 number she guys 10 or samandi this by
The Sumi Totimi Hoho on Tuesday celebrated the glorious years of Miss Sumi 2022 at the town hall in Zinuburo on the theme Ato Hitoe Gulo Sulimu Jukucho. Furthermore, advisor for school education and CERT, Katie Sukalo, while speaking at the function as a chief guest, asserted that every lady contesting in Miss Sumi, Miss Nagaland or Miss India are a woman of substance, and further urged parents to support the dreams and goals of their children. Notably, during the Miss Sumi 2022, a total of 17 contestants participated in the program, out of which 10 of them won the title. It is to be mentioned that Hikale Achumi bagged the title of Miss Sumi 2022 along with a cash prize of rupees 50,000, while Nltv Kipa bagged the first runner-up and Niloli Wuta bagged the second runner-up. Also, it can also be mentioned that this event was organized by the Smi Totimi Hoho in celebration of 23 years of glorious years of Miss Smi. A new feather added to its cape as Nagaland ranked 4th among the special category states and union territories in the first state ranking index for the National Food Security Act, while Tripura stood first, followed by Himachal Pradesh and then Sikkim. Notably, Union Minister of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution Piyush Goyal released the first edition of State Ranking Index for NFSA during the Conference of Food Ministers of States and Union Territories on Food Nutrition and Security in India, organized by Department of Food and Public Distribution in New Delhi on Tuesday. Furthermore, Goyal stated that the ranking will lead to a healthy competition amongst states under NFSA, which is also known as the Food Law. In pursuance to the detection of African swine fever in various locations in Kohima, the Deputy Commissioner of Kohima on Tuesday issued an order informing people about the infected and surveillance zones. Notably, under infected zones fall Visuma and 1 kilometer radius areas, Tseleke and areas within 1 kilometer radius, and Zuruzu and areas within 1 kilometer radius. Meanwhile, on the other hand, the surveillance zones include Chakama, Kuzama, Kikuma, Gidima, Gizoma, Pesama, Fuchama, Mima, Mitelepe, B, Konama, Mirima, Old and New Tsisema, and High School area in Kohima. The Deputy Commissioner further stated that a ban on slaughter of pigs, ban on import and export of pigs and piglets, and ban on transportation of pork and pigs are to be strictly adhered to in the aforementioned locations until further notice. A two-day summer camp under the theme Let's Relive the Summer Excitement was organized at Little Millennium Ridgemount School at Chiki village in Dimapur. Notably, about 90 to 100 children participated in the camp, whereby they experienced various activities including cosplay, Zumba, art and craft, water play, sand play, pool party, treasure hunt, non-fire cooking and many more. It is to be mentioned that the camp, which was held on 5th and 6th July, aimed at providing quality productive time to children for all-round growth.
So as said, we are having a two-day summer camp program. This is a collaboration of our high school as well as the preschool. So we are having it from playgroup to grade 3, that is class 3. So Monla Little Millennium, which is our preschool, Aro Monla High School, that is Ridgemount School, Mon Collab Korena, itu summer camp Korese. So the summer camp, the reason behind organizing such event is that we want to give productive time to our kids, quality time, fun time. The reason why we are organizing this is, one, it's to let them have a fun time. Now that summer vacation has started for the kids, what's going to happen is that the kids are going to stay idle at home. They're just going to have a screen time, like play with the mobile phones and watch TV and stuff like that. So the reason why we're organizing this is that they will have a productive time. Like they'll have fun, at the same time they'll have a productive time, right? And through this summer camp, many people think like, oh, they're just going to play, have fun. But many people are not aware that it does have its other benefits. There are lots of benefits. Like, for example, there is like, it helps them with their psychological growth, like positive psychological growth. They're able to be themselves. They're able to open up because it's like an open play area, right? So it helps them not just physically, but even mentally, emotionally as well. They get to make new friends. They get to try something they have never done before. So they tend to think out of the box, think more creatively. So in all these ways, it benefits the child. So that's the reason why we've organized this. So it's
2 youth from the northeast state of Manipur were allegedly shot dead in Myanmar. Both the youth hailed from India-Myanmar border town of Mori in Manipur. The deceased persons have been identified as M. Yanar and P. Mohon of Mori. The duo was allegedly shot dead at Tamil in Myanmar on Tuesday. Meanwhile, the locals at Mori in Manipur have kept their shops closed as a protest to the killings. On the other hand, the officials from India are in touch with Myanmar authorities on the matter. The bodies of the two deceased from Mori are likely to be handed over to the family on Wednesday. It is alleged that the duo were shot by a militia group supported by the Myanmar army. The youth from Manipur were allegedly shot dead when they tried to cross the border to meet their friend. The duo was reportedly shot by the armed miscreants at Tamil Ward number 10 near Buddhist temple in Myanmar on Tuesday at around 11 a.m. P. Mohon was an auto rickshaw driver and he got married around 2 weeks ago, while M. Yanar was earning livelihood by running a small-time business in the port town. The Assam cabinet on Tuesday approved the identification of 5 Assamese Muslim subgroups, Gorias, Morias, Jodhas, Deshis and Sayeds as indigenous Assamese Muslim communities. Assam Chief Minister Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma tweeted and said that the move will ensure their development in health, cultural identity, education, financial inclusion, skill development and women empowerment. The Assam cabinet also took several decisions pertaining to the scrapping of old vehicles, exempting ex-servicemen and their widows from paying property tax as a gesture of gratitude for their service to the nation, boosting renewable energy, improving data access, and so on. The flood situation in Assam slightly improved on Tuesday, with the number of people affected by the deluge coming down to 11 lakhs. According to reports, the total number of persons losing their lives in both the waves of flood since April 6 this year now stands at 184, with 4 new fatalities, including 2 children, was recorded in the past 24 hours. It is worth noting that at present a total of 1,024 villages are underwater and over 29,781 hectares of croplands have been damaged across Assam. It can be mentioned that the authorities are running 383 relief camps and distribution centers in 15 districts, where a total of 1,48,122 people, including 44,190 children, are taking shelter. Meanwhile, President Ramnath Kovind on Tuesday called Assam Chief Minister and inquired about the prevailing situation in the state caused by floods. Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi and RCP Singh resigned as union ministers on Wednesday, a day ahead of the expiry of their Rajya Sabha terms. According to reports, the union ministers submitted their resignation letters to Prime Minister Narendra Modi earlier in the day. Modi had lauded both Naqvi and Singh during the cabinet meeting for their contribution to the country during their tenure, in an apparent suggestion of it being their final cabinet meeting. Both ministers submitted their resignations to fulfill the constitutional obligation, as they will cease to be parliamentarian from Friday onwards. Naqvi, a senior BJP leader, is also the deputy leader of the Rajya Sabha. Singh is a minister in the Modi cabinet from the JDU Koda. The domestic LPG cylinder prices have been hiked by Rs 50 with effect from Wednesday. Notably, the price of cylinder has increased from Rs 1,003 to Rs 1,053 in the national capital. Meanwhile, domestic LPG cylinders in Mumbai, Kolkata and Chennai will now cost 1,052.50 paisa, 1,079 and 1,068.50 paisa respectively. Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwan Mann will be getting married to Dr. Gurpreet Kaur tomorrow in a close private ceremony at his house in Chandigarh. Notably, only close family members will attend the wedding ceremony, while Delhi Chief Minister and Aam Aadmi Party National Convener Arvind Kejriwal will also be in attendance. It may be mentioned that Chief Minister Mann was divorced from his earlier marriage almost 6 years ago. Amid Trinamool Congress MP Mohua Moitra's controversial statement on Goddess Kali, Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chouhan has put up his remarks. Chouhan said that no one's religion should be hurt. He further stated that Kali Ma has been insulted and an FIR has been lodged in Madhya Pradesh. Chief Minister said the people of Madhya Pradesh will not tolerate any insult to Goddess Kali Ma. It is to be mentioned that Moitra on Tuesday kicked up a controversy at a conclave by saying that she had every right as an individual to imagine Goddess Kali as a meat-eating and alcohol-consuming or alcohol-accepting goddess, as each person has their own unique way of worshipping their deities.
किसी भी धर्म की भावनाओं को आहत नहीं होना चाहिए। किसी धर्म की भावनाओं को आहत नहीं होना चाहिए। अभी काली मां का अपमान किया गया है, आज आपने देखा होगा FIR मध्य प्रदेश में हो गई है। हमने कहा भाई हम नहीं छोड़ेंगे, मैया का अपमान भी सहन नहीं करेंगे। किसी की आस्था को चोट किसी भी कीमत पर नहीं पहुंचानी चाहिए।
The 24 newly elected members of the Rajya Sabha is set to take oath on July 8 in the chamber of the upper house of the parliament. It may be mentioned that Union Minister of Commerce and Industry Piyush Goyal and Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman are among others who will take the oath. Notably, close to 72 members of the Rajya Sabha are set to retire by July from the upper house. At least 7 people are feared to be dead in several incidents owing to heavy rains and flash floods in Himachal Pradesh Kulu district on Wednesday. Notably, more than 25 employees working at Malana power project in the district had to be rescued from a building damaged by flash floods. Meanwhile, at least 4 people were feared washed away, and the bridge across the Parvati River was destroyed in flash floods caused by a cloud burst at Manikaran in the Kulu district, while 3 others were also feared to have been drowned in separate parts of the Kulu district amid the heavy downpour. According to State Disaster Management Director Suresh Mokhta, around 46 people went missing following the cloud burst that occurred around 6 a.m. in Chowk village in Chalao Panchayat of Kulu district. Furthermore, Himachal Pradesh Chief Minister said the government will be on high alert in view of the expected heavy rainfall in the days to come. As Maharashtra experienced heavy rain since Monday, over 3,500 people have been shifted to safer places from flood-prone and vulnerable spots. Notably, urban areas including Mumbai reported waterlogging, while the level of some rivers raised rapidly. Mumbai's Bawai Lake also began to overflow on Tuesday evening, upon which the Indian Meteorological Department issued red and orange alerts predicting very heavy to extremely heavy rainfall for Raigad, Ratnagiri and some other districts of Maharashtra. It may be mentioned that Chief Minister Eknath Shinde visited the Brihan Mumbai Municipal Corporation's disaster control room. Shinde further directed Mumbai Municipal Commissioner Iqbal Singh Chahal to deploy ward officers for supervision and to arrange state transport buses to ferry stranded passengers. Indian Air Force on Wednesday received nearly 7.5 lakh applicants under the Agnipath scheme, having started the registration process on June 24, just 10 days after the scheme was launched by the center. Notably, Indian Air Force have witnessed the highest number of applications for recruitment into the force, surpassing the previous best recruitment cycle numbers. According to the IAF, the highest number of applications in any recruitment was 631,528, which was overtaken this year under the Agnipath scheme, which attracted 7,49,899 applicants. Amid heavy rainfall in Maharashtra and Mumbai in particular, a landslide has been reported in Mumbai's Chunapadi area on Wednesday, wherein 2 people were injured and 3 houses were reportedly damaged in the incident. In addition to this, waterlogging has been reported in at least 25 locations across the city. Notably, the Indian Meteorological Department has issued a red alert for 4 districts in Maharashtra, forecasting extremely heavy rainfall at isolated places for the next 2 days. It is to be mentioned that Maharashtra's Chief Minister Eknath Shinde on Tuesday stated that over 3,000 people have been shifted to a safer place from flood-prone and vulnerable spots across Maharashtra. Airlifted. Days after former Bihar Chief Minister Lalu Prasad Yadav was hospitalized with severe injuries, the RJD Supremo on Wednesday is set to be airlifted to New Delhi, where he will be admitted to AIIMS. Earlier this week, the former Bihar Chief Minister who has been staying at the residence of his wife Rabri Devi tripped while climbing the stairs. He was immediately rushed to a hospital, where he was found to have fractured his shoulder and injured his back. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday called up Lalu Yadav's son Tejaswi Yadav to inquire about the RJD chief's health and wished a speedy recovery to the RJD chief. Chief Minister of Bihar Nitish Kumar visited Lalu Prasad Yadav before being airlifted to AIIMS. Furthermore, according to the party, the condition of 74-year-old RJD chief is stated to be stable. Lalu Yadav is undergoing treatment and is being monitored by multiple doctors. The Tibetan spiritual leader Dalai Lama, also referred to as His Holiness, celebrated his 87th birthday on Wednesday. Notably, the 14th Dalai Lama is also known as Denzin Gyatso and has been revered as an icon of ahimsa and karuna. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, taking down to Twitter, wished the spiritual leader on his birthday and prayed for his long life and good health. A 21-year-old man who allegedly opened fire on July 4 in a barracks in a wealthy Chicago suburb while disguised in women's clothing was charged with 7 counts of first-degree murder on Tuesday. Robert Kramer, 21, was arrested on Monday, several hours later, after the attack on a festive Independence Day crowd. Lake County State's Attorney Eric Reinhardt stated that there will be no more charges on Kramer, and the department will anticipate dozens of more charges centered around each of the victims. Meanwhile, police spokesman Christopher Cavalli said the death toll rose to 7 on Tuesday after one of the wounded victims succumbed to injuries in hospital. More than 35 people were injured during the mass shooting on July 4. And that brings us to the end of Nagaland TV English Primetime. Thank you for tuning in.
अरे तूने अभी तक कुछ किया ही नहीं।
अरे ये तो लो क्वालिटी टंकी है।
होशियारी मत दिखाओ, दुकानदार ने 5 साल की गारंटी दी है।
अरे 5 साल छोड़िए, इसका पानी पियेंगे ना तो बहुत जल्दी हम लोग पहुंचेंगे। अंदर का सर्विस प्लेन, स्मूथ और प्योर